Hey guys, Tom is here once again. And it is the same day as my last video. That's why I'm wearing the same shirt. I'm just cranking these out. I actually haven't done whatever. I'm a little sporadic lately. It's been like a week or two in between videos and stuff. So I'm going to make at least, I made one already, and I'm going to make this one, and then possibly another one, like this week. Maybe I'll crank at least three out this week. This one's about the NBI. Okay, it's my first NBI check, which is the NBI is like the Philippine version of the FBI in the U.S. Okay, it's like a federal law enforcement agency for the whole country. It's not like a local police. It's like federal. Which what we would call federal U.S. And the reason I'm taking it is because since I've been here for over 3 months, and I'm still going through the process of applying for my SRRV retirement visa, military courtesy, retirement visa, they need you to do an NBI, if you've been here more than 3 months, and I have. So I did it, and it was my very first one, of course, and not bad actually. The only drawback was there's an NBI office walking distance from where I live. However, we went there first, right? We went there like 10 o'clock. And it's funny, the day before we went to the mall. It's a Robinson's actually over here. And we wanted to make sure, like, the logistics, like, hey, is it there? Where is it at? How does it work? So we figured out, yeah, it's on the third floor. It's there. There were people there waiting and all that. And, we saw that it was an actual NBI office still there. But I tell you what, when you ask like security, like, we must have asked three or four different people, like, hey, how does it work? Do we have to? Because they don't open till 10. I mean, the mall doesn't open till 10, but also the NBI opens at 10. Like 10 to 5 they're open, I think. So we're just thinking like, okay, how does it work? I mean, maybe there's going to be a lot of people there, and people tell you different things. You know what I mean? Like they're oh, some people were like, oh, you should come here at 6 in the morning and stand in line. You know what I mean? And these are people that work at the mall. Like even well, whatever. I won't go into what the positions are, but you know what I mean. Like, I guess the point is you got to really think for yourself here. Otherwise, you're going to wind up. If you listen to the first person you ask, or even a second person, sometimes a lot of times you can get good information, but on this particular subject, I was hearing stuff like didn't make sense. And I'm like, I told Amy, I go, there's no way in hell I'm coming here at 6 in the morning. No, I'll go somewhere else, to get this done. You know what I mean? Where I could be more efficient and less waiting. It's not like I needed to have it, like that day. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the process that's going to take. By the time I get my actual visa, my SRRV, it'll probably be December or January. So it's not like it. So anyway, so now we just thought about it. We went back home and we got, listen, we'll just go there when they open, 10 o'clock. We'll get there right after they open. We'll go up there. I'm a senior. I got my ACR card, which I mentioned in just the previous video I did. And guess what? There are a lot of benefits to this. When you have your ACR card and you're a senior, as far as not having to wait in lines. Okay, you go to the priority window. Okay, which might have 2, 3 people instead of like waiting behind 30 people. Okay, so it really comes in handy. So okay, so we saw this guy. People were asking him questions. He's an employee. As soon as we got there, and I said, "Sir, I got my QR. I paid for this already. I got my QR code. I showed it on my phone." And I said, "And I'm a senior." And he goes, "Oh, you're a senior, sir." He goes, "Go right to that window. Your priority." So I said, "Thank you." So I went to the window, and I don't know, there's like one person there, and then they were done quickly. So I stepped up, and this is kind of funny. There was a young girl there, working, and I mean, I don't know, she looked pretty young. She's like 20. It might have been her first job out of school, even out of college, right? And I start talking, and of course, boom, I'm an American. I talk kind of fast. I'm whatever. I don't know what kind of Chicago accent I still have or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm talking, and as soon as I start talking, she's like, the nosebleed. I could see it in her eyes. She's like, oh, and she immediately like calls for somebody else, right? But the guy was right there, it was and there was a guy that, was not old, but he was like 30, you know what I mean? So he obviously had more experience and knew English, spoke English much better. And so he helped me, and I told him exactly what I needed. And he said, "Oh, sir," he said, "this is your first one, right?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You can't. We don't do the first time here. We don't. This is only for renewals. Like if you were renewing an NBI, because they're good for a year usually. When you're renewing it, then you could come here. But for the first time, you have to go to the main office in Manila, in Ermita, or in the I think it's Ermita or Intramuros area, whatever. It's central part of Manila. So we're like, oh, okay. So he gave me like the address, right? And then he said third floor, which is actually part of it is on the third floor, but you're actually spending more time on the first floor, really. You go up to the third floor for the fingerprints, but I'll get into that. So anyway, so we take a cab. So now the hardest part about all this is just the cab ride. It's like an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half cab ride each way. Okay. So the first time we go there to get all the initial stuff done, yeah, it was like an hour and a half to get there. Might have been an hour and 15 coming home. And we were there for about an hour and 15 minutes, I would say, which is not bad. This is Manila, man. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of, but it's fairly efficient. You know what I mean? It really is. Like you probably hear these nightmare stories. Oh, I stood in line for 7 hours and all this crap. It's like, that happens in the provincial area sometimes, I think. But if you got to stay on top of things here. If you're going to live here, you need some critical thinking skills too. You can't just, you have to figure like, hey, how is this going to work? Let's see. We're probably going to do this. You have to sort of get ahead of it. You know what I mean? So anyway, so we get there. And the first thing we do, and there is it's kind of you walk out of the cab, then you're walking, it's by the United Nations building, and it's, there's a train stop right there, United Nations train stop, and there's a jeepney stop there, right where they kind of let us off at the cab. So you walk around, you go into the building, you see about 8 people on the way there that are going to ask you about, hey, online, sir, they're going to help you with your online application, is what they're talking about, for a fee, of course. Well, I already did my online application. I literally did it August 25th, okay? So, and then the closest appointment I could get was like October. It was literally like 5 or 6 weeks later, okay? That was the earliest appointment that I could get. And like I said, I started out with the one that's close to me, and then wound up they couldn't do it because it was the first time. So now, the same day, we just jumped in a cab. We went home briefly, got a few things, jumped in a, called a Grab or a cab. I think it was a Grab taxi, actually. Took the ride, got there, like I said, went down to the foreigners lane. There's like a foreigners lane where you fill out some stuff, like the actual card that has the fingerprints on there and place for a picture and all this shit. Well, you got to fill it out, right, based on mostly off your passport information. And you give it to the guy. He looks it over. Okay, that's good. You did it right. And then after that, we went to the lady that's on the computer. There's a desk, a big room, a lot of people waiting. But we're in the senior priority, so it's not that many people. It's like 3 or 4 people ahead of me. They don't know how to follow directions. They're not seniors. I'm looking at them. I'm like, you're not handicapped, you're not pregnant, and you're not a senior. I'm thinking, what the hell are you doing here? But I didn't say anything. So as soon as they get to the lady's looking at them, asks them a few questions, and then she said, no, you go over there. you go over there. So I knew that these people weren't going to take long. There was only one person that was ahead of me that was an actual senior. You know what I mean? And the other 3 were like younger people that weren't with no handicaps, and they were male, so they obviously weren't pregnant. So anyway, so it didn't take long. I got to see her. She pulls up the online application. It says paid. Boom, boom. She looks at it. She goes through it. Because you can make any corrections if you need to. And yeah, there was one correction I made. Nothing important, but I mean, I did it. And then she did it, she corrected it, and then everything, she saved it, whatever, it's in there. And then, let's see, she printed out, or no, then she said, okay, go up to the third floor, you know, and you got to get the fingerprints. Now, she, on the computer, did computerized fingerprints, you know, just each finger, single finger, and thumbs. And she took the picture at the computer. However, you do have to go up to the third floor to get actual ink fingerprints. And they do like not only each finger and thumb, but they do like 4 fingers together on each hand. Okay, boom, boom. So we go up there and we don't have to wait long. Again, it's like boom, boom, man. You know, like he does it. And then he says, okay, sir, you could go wash your hands in the bathroom over there. So I go wash my hands, wash all that shit off my hands, all the ink and everything. Went to the bathroom while I was there real quick, you know. And then when I come out, you know, Amy's with me, of course, and they already gave her the slip of paper that says, you know, come back uh, on Monday, which was, now it's Wednesday. So in other words, we went there on a Thursday, I want to say, last week. So it's basically like 3 days or whatever. So it was ready on the 10th. It was ready on Monday. And it's just a little stub thing, and it's got your QR number on there, and it's got the date, and it says PM. So you kind of want to make sure, okay, we'll get there after noon then. You know, we don't want to get there at 9 a.m. and it's not ready yet. So we get there like, you know, almost the same time we got there the first time, like right after noon, like 12:30, something like that. And we wait in the line. You know, it's on the first floor, the release line, right? And there's no like senior cuts, you know what I mean? Like you just have to wait. But it's fast. You know, everyone's like me. They got the little stub with their number on it. There's like 7 people ahead of me, but they're all just, they show the guy the number, he types it in, then it's ready. He gives you the thumbs up. You move to the right a little bit. He prints it out, and they give you 2 original copies, one for yourself and one for whoever else needs it. So you literally just move to the side. He's printing out yours. He gives it to you. Thank you, sir. And then the next person, you know, he's already typed their shit in, you know, and so it was pretty fast. You know what I mean? Like, we were there for 15 minutes. I mean, the cab ride was like the biggest pain in the ass. It's like an hour and 15 or hour and a half there, you know, hour and 15 back, whatever. And we were only there for 15 minutes, you know, but we had to get it, you know. You gotta get it. It's like when you go to get your visa, your tourist visa extended, you know, you got to do it. It's a cab ride. It's 45 minutes in our case or whatever, but hey, you got to do it, you know. And again, that usually didn't take too long either, you know. So now we got that taken care of, right? And it was a pretty smooth experience, you know, it really was. But you know, it's in the heart of the city, man. I mean, you know, you gotta like, you know, if you're not used to being around a lot of people, you know, yeah, Manila's gonna be a lot for you to take. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even where I'm at, I'm sort of in the outskirts. It's almost like you'd almost call it a suburb, but it's nothing like a suburb in the U.S. But I'm just saying, compared to the center of Manila, it kind of is, right? And there's still a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's no, you know, I mean, I don't mind it. You know, obviously, you know, I live half my life in Chicago, so you know, in the city, so I don't. It's not that huge of a deal for me, but you know, and then flagging a cab was kind of, you know what I mean. The first time we were able to flag a taxi right off the street there when we walked out of the place. It took a little while. It took about 10 minutes or whatever to get one. The second time, I think we were waiting for a taxi, trying to flag one down. Then I think I went into my Grab, and I just got a Grab taxi. And the first guy, I don't know, got confused or something. He canceled, and then we got another guy, and he showed up. We just had him come to the jeepney stop there, you know, on the next street, you know, or on, I think that was Taft actually, on Taft Avenue. And yeah, no issues, you know. I mean, yeah. I think the cab ride. Oh God, what was it? I think going there was I want to say 700 pesos, 750. Coming back was 650, I believe, total. You know, yeah. But you're talking about that's over an hour, okay, each way. At least an hour and 15 minutes each way if you want to average it out or whatever. Think of what you'd pay for an hour cab ride in the U.S. I don't give a crap where you're at, whether you're in a city or whether you're in some suburb or some rural area. Think about what you would pay. I think it'd be a hell of a lot more than $11. Okay, uh, But anyway, so I got that. So now the only thing with my SRV, the only thing I got to do really is my medical, which I've already got. My doctor already gave us the prescriptions for everything that I need to get done, the X-ray and the urine and this and that, on the medical part of it. So I just have to do that, and I'm in the process of doing the two of the documents that were done in the U.S. need to be apostilled. So that's being done, or I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to send it to them, have them work on it. This company in the U.S. that's going to do it, and then when I get the medical done, I just send them. I'll have to mail it to them. They need the original, so I have to mail it to Cebu because the company that I'm working with is out of Cebu. Um, you know, So, and then when this is all over, I'll talk about all that too. You know what I mean? Like the process, just kind of give a summary and then maybe even like a review of, my experience with the company that I used. But that's about it, guys. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Do me a favor, like if you do like, subscribe. I really appreciate it, man. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.